The following program is sponsored by John Chachis Insurance, your local farmers insurance agent located 800 Avenue G in Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Ely TV, Channel 3-2 in Ely, Nevada. White Pine County Commission meeting, May 22nd, 2013.
One was listening. Where's Lori? No, I haven't. And Trees? Where is
I don't know.
Well, we're going into session.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the White Pine County Commission meeting, May 22nd. If you'll follow us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And welcome. Public comment.
We do have public comment.
Okay, could you go up to the microphone, please, and state who it's from?
I will do that. Actually, here comes Miss Carson. I'll let her do that.
Oh.
Okay, well, John, you can do that.
I knew I was going to get stuck
It's
in.
up to you.
Okay.
I'd be more than happy to.
No, it's fine. I'm joking. Dear sirs, this is from Dr. Nancy L. Baker, DO. It has come to my immediate attention that my letter to the Bureau of Land Management regarding physical safety and possible water contamination of White Pine County, Nevada, has offended one or all of you. In that letter, I suggested fencing being placed up in the Duck Creek Basin for public safety due to the high volume of visitors. Not one of you had the decency to call me. Instead, one of you came to my boss and complained about the letter this very day. Where I come from, that is called cowardly and highly unprofessional. I've never been called that. Therefore, I will withdraw immediately my non grata unpaid position of White Pine Health Officer. Please read this letter at your meeting of May 22nd, 2013. As a free citizen under the First Amendment, this now gives me liberty to discuss with the Environmental Protection Agency the possible need for a study regarding microorganisms, organic and inorganic chemicals, or radionuclides, which can possibly contaminate the surface water and the aquifer of the Great Basin. As you well know, Southern Nevada Water Authority is currently being challenged by the EPA for polluting Lake Mead with perchlorate. Pat Mulroy protests she cannot pay $512 million in initial capital for the first year and $64 million per year in operating costs. I now propose to the EPA and to others how is the SNMA to pay for this pipeline. Please also have notice that if I am to be asked to be professional witness in the White Pine courts for any reason, I shall be billing your office the standard fee of $500 per hour. Signed, Dr. Nancy L. Baker.
John, if I could add to that, she said that just for some clarification, she said that it went to the BLM. She did not just send it to BLM, it also went to Senator Harry Reid, and it went to the State Health Department. And the commission was CC'd on this. She did not talk to us ahead of time in any way. So I just thought that it would be appropriate to add that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add a few things too. You will recall, I think, and it might even be in the minutes we're going to consider later today, that I mentioned that letter, which I know was delivered to all commissioners, and said it was my intent to speak to Dr. Baker. So her statement that none of us had the decency to call her, I think, was kind of inchoate in that I had not called her, but it was our intent. It was acknowledged by the commission. I thought that letter was uninformed and intemperate, and this one is as well. I want to say for the record, I did not contact her boss. I've had very little discussion of that letter since the day we mentioned it on the record. However, her letter today does seem to acknowledge my principal concern at that time, and that is what her obligations were as a county official versus the, as she says, liberty that she has under the First Amendment as a private citizen. I think it was that split, and that confusion, that ambiguity in the letter that gave me heartburn, not the substance of the letter. Perhaps this is the best early resolution of that potential conflict.
Thank you. Any further discussion? This is public comment.
Yeah, any further? No.
Okay, yes, Bill. Since we started discussing.
Good morning. I apologize, I did not get it on the agenda for the McGill construction of the porch and capital improvement project, but we received no bidders, so I'm just kind of giving you an update at this time. We will continue to advertise for additional 2 weeks in the paper, and maybe some of our contractors will respond, and if they do, I'll bring it forward to you at that time. Thank you.
Public comment. Okay, if none, we'll go
Hold
to
it.
our first agenda. Hold it.
I was just being courteous to the others.
Thanks, George.
Anytime. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm repeating myself here. I attend regional transportation meetings on a regular basis and have requested public information from the chairman and the board. The chairman and the board are not responding. The request goes back a year or more. Those people need to be replaced. Regional Transportation Board. They're meeting again this coming, I think it's Thursday morning. I'm going to ask them one more time, and then you need to replace them. Either that or tell me I have no right to any public information. They're circumventing city codes, they're circumventing the law. If they're not, give me the information that I'm asking for. It's a simple request, I want a simple answer. Mr. Chairman, on your agenda item, Roman numeral 2A3, the commission is to discuss requesting a waiver of the sewer and water connection fees for the White Pine County Aquatic Facility. The item does not state the amount of value to be requested. I don't believe you can do that. The property does not belong to the county, nor is the Wilser for that portion of that small portion of land donated by Commissioner Lendich.
I'm going to inform you on that. That's being tabled because I didn't get all the information I needed, and I put that on the agenda.
Okay.
It's moved at this time.
All right. I'm just going to give you some additional information, so if it's been put
Well,
off.
I'm waiting for information, and then we
Okay.
can discuss that item.
All right. The land that the proposed pool is to be located belongs to the school district. The land was given by the BLM to the school, and I believe there's still a condition on that property which states the property is for school use only. A condition that I asked for when I was mayor when negotiating with Gene Copeland of the local BLM. To my knowledge, that condition has not been removed. I have requested information from the local BLM office, and I was told that they would have the information for me shortly. I don't recall a public hearing changing any of those conditions. For you to ask the city for a waiver, let me tell you, the city is broke. They are flat broke. You'll only be adding to their dilemma. On one hand, Councilman Bybee comes crying to you folks for $268,000 bailout for 1 year. Then the city clerk laments that the amount wasn't really needed, that it was just a gift. And now the city treasurer, Trask, states the city may need additional gifts or bailouts. Those people don't know whether they're coming or going. And it's not incumbent on the county to bail out mismanagement. I've told you on more than one occasion, they don't comply with their own ordinance that requires a treasurer with a bachelor's degree in accounting.
You have 1 minute, Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I don't believe you can have a building permit issued without a Wilser for water and sewer in hand. You cannot tie on to another entity's service. The additional load may compromise both facilities. Mr. Chairman, on your agenda, Roman numeral 4.2, you're to consider the donation to White Pine County surplus ambulance to the Ely Volunteer Fire Department. That ambulance needs to be given to the town of Ruth if you haven't replaced the one that you took from them earlier, or donated to the city of Ely. An entity that has a license to operate ambulances. I don't believe the Ely Volunteers are licensed, and they are a private club. Mr. Chairman, I've asked you in the past, I'm asking again, did the county grant property tax exemption to the Gregory Development Group properties known as Highland Terrace Apartments and the Highland Terrace Annex? I've asked for information so I can take my property off the tax roll since I'm not able to use my property, yet I understand these people may have gotten tax exemption. I'm subsidizing their property through my taxes.
Just check with the assessor's office.
Well, it came before you folks. You had to vote on it.
Well, that was several years ago.
No, sir, just recently. Oh, my 3 minutes are up.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
And I
I'll
would
give you
suggest
3 minutes to answer this when you have time.
Mr. Chad, just don't threaten me.
Pardon me?
Don't threaten me.
It's no threat, sir.
Yes, it was.
No.
You're through. Public comment?
Mr. Chairman, if I could have 1 minute of public comment, I want to clarify something that came up in the last meeting. We voted on the budget submission to the state in a vote that encompassed 3 of our local towns as well as the county budget. And I made a very unclear statement. I want to clarify that now. That simply is that our finance director reports to us an overall county reduction in our available fund balances, which are, for those that don't deal in municipal accounting, our savings accounts, our long-term funds to draw on for emergencies, what have you, of $2.4 million, more than $2.4 million. My concern is, and the reason that I attempted to speak to that directly and wasn't clear, is that in what are relatively flush years for the county, in a county that is highly dependent on a cyclical industry, we are, even in this year, drawing down substantially on our savings, and I don't think that in the long term we will be satisfied with the result. I think this spells trouble for us economically, and I hope that we, if nothing else, prospectively keep a very, very keen eye on expenditures this year and the prospective tax revenue so we don't end up in a fiscal disaster as the county recently experienced. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Custer. Any other public comment? If none, we'll go into our agenda item. Tracy Miller, General Manager, Bald Mountain Mine, provide an overview of current operations at the Barry Bald Mountain Mine. Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Did you guys do, I think
Sure.
Valerie
That's
sent
fine. And we need a copy for it. Well, we'll have copies too. That's fine.
She sent them yesterday afternoon and they have not been.
That's fine. We'll do it right now.
So I need to make copies.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Let's just get up, make copies, and put it out to the public so we can get this meeting going.
We have extra copies that, yep.
Okay.
Do you
Just
got
put 'em
extra
up there.
in
That's
here
all
that
you-
pass them out?
Yep. Thanks.
Here's another one. Okay, Tracy, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, thank you. I think we were here about a year ago exactly and gave a brief update, pretty much the same, but we'll go through it again. We submitted a plan of operations to the BLM in the end of 2011, or the end of 2011 for an expansion that would take our mine life out to roughly to 2030, something like that. And so the status of that is we're working on our environment, the BLM is working on the environmental impact statement. And the target dates are that the EIS would go out for public comment during the fourth quarter of this year. And we're hoping for approval of the record of decision by mid to third quarter of 2014 to begin an expansion in 2015. That's the target right now. I think we're on plan for that still. With that expansion, our north area, there would be some expansion in the north area of the mine, and with the approval of the ROD, and some in the south area of the mine. And the south area is the area that more likely people from Ely and Eureka would come into that play more than what we have today. Some of the areas we looked at on the EIS, or some of the areas we had to work on developing alternatives, were with regard to the mule deer. We spent 5 months working with the Nevada Department of Wildlife, and with the BLM also, who were really, really great to work with, have been continually good to work with. I would have said that regardless of Mindy being Anyway, we did spend 5 months though looking at some of our waste dumps, moving some of the waste dumps, moving some of the roads, moving some of the leach pads to accommodate 2 major 2,000-foot mule deer corridor work with the NDAL on that. That's what they were wanting. And we also have done some realignment in the south area to accommodate sage-grouse, Lex, and also have done some work with our waste dumps with regard to visuals from some of the northern area pits. So those are some areas right now that we've been working on. That's the EIS update. Employment, we're still at around 390, 400 people working at Bald Mountain, which is great. And of that, about 7%, oh, I have to put my little glasses on. 12%. Sorry. I know.
Frightening, isn't it?
I know, age is just terrible. So 12% is from the Ely area. And with expansion, we would hope to see that go up slightly, It's a shorter drive to go to the south area of the mine. And so we're about 390. We'll go up probably to 490 for a couple of years, and when we get the south area going. As for contractors, again, that's an opportunity for the Ely area. During our expansion, we'll be building leach pads and facilities in the south area, and that would be around $200 million is what we have budgeted right now. And so there'll be opportunities for contractors, road maintenance, heap leach, power line, structure, all sorts of opportunities there. And again, that's the south area, I don't think I mentioned, probably wouldn't start till 2017, 18, 19, somewhere in there, depending on where we're at with everything. Tax information for 2012, Bald Mountain paid, generally speaking, about $10 million, $5 million in sales tax, $800,000 property tax, and $5 million in net proceeds tax. And just as a matter of note, Bear did do a prepayment of $100 million in net proceeds, which is the state tax. Life of mine, I mentioned earlier, is about 2030, depending, gold price. We're in the process of evaluating that. It should stay strong until about 2030. And we are at about 100,000 ounces a year right now. And what we hope to get to is about 150, 175, and then sustain that for several years. Last thing to mention, which is probably most important, is community investment in the Ely area. Last year we gave about $25,000 to $30,000 to the community. Some of that was $20,000 to the nutrition program to purchase the vehicle we did for meal deliveries to senior citizens. And we also partnered with other mining companies to build an awning at the James Jewell Post, the VFW, and we contributed to the White Pine High School Safe and Sober Night, which is good. And also the boost, we were sponsoring some things for the boosters, the White Pine High School boosters. And that is all I have.
Well, that's very impressive. And on behalf of the Commission, I want to thank you for your contributions to the community. We're always pleased to have contributions, as you know, and we're glad to have you here until 2030. I'll probably be looking down on you, so make sure you keep it clean.
I hope not.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
I just want to second what the chairman said, and thanks for all of what you're doing. But I want to tell you that I had an opportunity to participate in the safety inspection up there, and it was as remarkable and outstanding an operation as I've ever seen in an outdoor industrial environment. And I wanted to thank Jeremy and the others for that opportunity just a week and a half ago.
Oh, fabulous! That's great. Jeremy Rice, you went out with him.
Yes.
Oh yeah, good. Thank you. We put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, well, thank you. And you.
Thank you very much.
One more thing.
Yes, sure.
Okay. In regards to SJR 15, 7, 15. Okay, what I wanted to say, these numbers here do not reflect on that. There's other, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
As a legislative year, my numbers are
Me too.
getting complicated. It did pass through, it'll be on the ballot. I'm going to assume that you are aware of that. But what I want to do is, if there is a collaboration in any way to help get the word out, when they go ahead to put the pros and cons together, that we have some type of a campaign that really shows volunteer numbers, actual dollar numbers, that we really need to get out to the community. This is not a north-south issue. This will impact all of our areas in regards to hospitals, schools, capital improvements. And so I want you to know that we're here to help. And, I think this is something that we really need to pursue.
For the record, Melanie Lawson, I'm in the Community Relations Group at Barrick, and thank you for that offer. We have some folks working in Reno on the issue,
Right.
and then we're working a lot with the Nevada Mining Association because
Right.
it's an industry-wide impact, not just Barrick. So any future plans going forward, we'll be sure to keep that in mind and can.
Yeah, please
take
do.
your
And I
input.
have had conversations with Mr. Crowley, and this is something that we do support just for the well-being of the state.
Good, and we appreciate everyone too who went down. I talked to Donna after a bunch of people went down to the legislative session, so that kind of support is appreciated by the industry also.
Well, we need to protect our industries, all our industries, and especially here in the rurals and statewide. So we're happy to participate. You need testifying. That sounds like a song or something. If you need us to testify or send letters, please let us know. We're
Okay.
happy to do whatever we can.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks, Melanie. Thank you very much. Have a
You
good
bet.
day.
And thank you for the indulgence where we got off the agenda.
Yeah. Please do. B, Brian Lothman, BEC Environmental Incorporated, to give a presentation on Rural Desert Southwest Brownsfield Coalition. How you doing, Brian?
Yes, thank you.
Just state your name for the record.
Brian Lawson, BEC Environmental. Good morning, gentlemen and commissioners. I'm here to provide a brief programmatic update on the Rural Desert Southwest Brownfield Coalition, which White Pine County is a coalition member of. Real briefly, this coalition includes 4 counties in Nevada: White Pine, Nye County, Esmeralda, Lincoln, and 1 county in California, Inyo. And that's actually what makes this particular grant very unique. This was the first grant in the nation ever awarded by EPA that crossed state boundaries, that included a coalition of counties from 2 different states. So that's kind of a neat little thing for this particular coalition. And actually, Jim and I just attended the EPA National Brownfields Conference in Atlanta last week, and it turns out that quite a few people from the different EPA regions across the country were very familiar with this, and because of the fact that it is the first time it's ever been done in the nation. So it's nice for White Pine County and all of the coalition members to be a part of something that's the first of its kind. So what I wanted to do here today, at one of our recent quarterly meetings that Jim regularly participates in, we decided it would be a good idea to come before the board in each of the coalition counties to give a little brief update, because right now we're about the midway point of this coalition grant, which runs from September of 2011 through September of 2014. And I'm sure most of you are aware of what a brownfield is, but just so we have all the same definition, a brownfield is any parcel where either known or perceived contamination may inhibit the growth or the redevelopment of that property. So, wanted to kind of briefly go over where we are at with this particular grant right now, and I should do this one here. Give an update on all the different sites that we've identified and assessed to date. So in Esmeralda County, we have identified and performed a Phase 1 and Phase 2 assessment of the Coaldale Junction truck stop. In Inyo County, we have the Mount Whitney Fish Hatchery and the PPG plant, which is the old Pittsburgh plate glass plant. In Lincoln County, we've identified and assessed the Pahranagat High School multi-use building. In Nye County, we have identified and assessed the Mountain Falls Boulevard Gateway site and several parcels that are lumped together for the Pahrump Utility Company Incorporated sites. In White Pine County, we have assessed, performed a Phase 1 and a Phase 2 assessment of the McGill Ballpark and the McGill Library. We've just completed the Phase 1 assessment of that, and we're going to be moving into the Phase 2 for that one. There was another property that we wanted to include in this coalition grant, and that was Mary Lee's property out on Altman and 2nd Street. She has 3 parcels there, and I know White Pine County at one point was interested in that property for a county building. We submitted her application to EPA, and they approved it, and we were ready to go with the assessment of that site. And then unfortunately, Mary decided to back out of the program for a number of reasons. So we're continuing to engage Mary Lee, and we're hoping that we can bring her back in at some point and maybe alleviate some of her concerns. And I think part of the problem is this is part of the problem with the Brownfields program in general, is that when you hear the word EPA, people get very nervous. And rightfully so.
Let me ask you, would you have looked at that property if we didn't ask to buy it?
Well, we
or
actually...
was that the triggering mechanism? Because we enhanced your property to our chagrin.
I'm not sure I'm following.
Well, I'm just asking, and I've been involved with PPE for years with Kennecott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you plan on doing that, or was the offer of purchasing the property from the county the triggering mechanism?
We had a direct contract with White Pine County to do the Phase 1 initially, and this was before Brownfields came in.
Okay.
So we did that,
Okay.
and then subsequent to that, we decided, you know what, we have this Brownfields Coalition grant, we have this funding, let's go ahead and try to enroll Riverside into that to do the Phase 2 assessment.
You answered my question.
Right, okay. So where we stand right now is one of the exciting things is, well, let me go back. Her fears kind of stem from the fact that, you hear the word EPA, and that's one of the challenges I have when I engage a property owner for the first time. They hear the word EPA, they think, the big federal hammer is going to come down on me, and that's true for the most case. But the Brownfields program within EPA is the only program that does not have an enforcement provision behind it. It's strictly a voluntary basis, and the reason EPA started the Brownfields program many years ago was to capture properties like this that would otherwise just stay vacant and undeveloped and underutilized. So we have to try to get people past that stigma, but it can be challenging at times. One of the things that EPA is trying to do with the Brownfields program is push things past the assessment phase. That's been one of the stumbling blocks with the Brownfields program. It's been fantastic at identifying properties in various communities across the country, getting them assessed, and getting them ready for productive use, but then that's where the program has typically stalled out. So EPA over the past few years has really ramped up their efforts in trying to take it beyond the assessment phase and get properties back into productive use by doing area-wide planning. And as part of our coalition grant here, we have 2 separate tasks. For every property, we will prepare a cleanup and reuse plan and include it in a comprehensive area-wide plan. And an example of how that's been successful, some of you may be familiar with the Coaldale Junction truck stop out there at 95 and the intersection of US 6. It's been an eyesore for many, many years, just a creation of dilapidated buildings. We've included that into a transaction database. It's a national database where you enter brownfields properties. And since we've done that, the owner of the Coaldale Junction truck stop has received 3 calls from companies in California and Arizona to possibly purchase this property or lease it as a shipping and distribution center, between, it's kind of like a midway point. And that probably never would have happened otherwise had we not entered that property into this transaction database. So some exciting news for us anyhow is we